So is Don Sweeney a terrible general manager? Now listen, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Milan Lucic signing. Now before you bite my head off, $1 million for a fourth line role and what he brings forth isn't terrible. I think people kind of missed the theme of that one video. I just don't understand why the Bruins haven't been able to draft a player that's bigger, faster, that could fill that role later in the draft, so we don't need to acquire a retread. That was my only argument. That's one of the knocks I've had on the Bruins. They just haven't been able to fill certain roles through their drafting process. But I wanted to have a discussion regarding Don Sweeney. Now, Don Sweeney gets mocked a lot for his drafting, for his trades. But looking at the whole thing altogether, I gotta be fair. The guy actually has drafted quite a bit of NHL level talent. In that 2015 draft, which he's infamously known for, yes, debrusk is most likely going to be the only one that becomes around a star level player in the NHL. Zboril, healthy scratch, never really got into the lineup. Senchinin just got traded to Ottawa. I don't think he'll ever become anything. But in that same draft, he got Brandon Carlo, Jeremy Lauzon, and Daniel Vladar, quality NHL level talent. The next draft after that, they get Charlie McAvoy, Trent Frederic, and people forget this, they drafted Ryan Lindgren. 2017, nobody that stands out. Vakanainen's not going to become anything, it looks like, at the NHL level. Stanika's been kind of a bust, but they got a future #1 goalie in Jeremy Swayman in the 4th round. That's really good value. In the 2018, guy that stands out, Jacob Lauko. He looked really good with the big club last year, and he'll get more of a role this upcoming season. And then 2019 forward, it becomes a little bit more difficult to judge because not enough time has elapsed. And some of these players will be making their first NHL appearance this upcoming season. Like John Beecher was drafted 30th overall in the 1st round. Will he become a dynamic center? Most likely not. Scouts think he's going to be about a 4th line center at the NHL level. But who knows? Maybe he pans out. Mason Lohrei in the 2020 draft, people think very highly of him. In the 2021 draft, Fabian Lysell. Bruins fans can't stop talking about the amount of talent this guy shows. He could be a dynamic player. And 2022, 2023, again, not enough time has passed for me to make a clear judgment on them. And let's go into Don Sweeney's trading. Sweeney did acquire those 2015 picks through trade. Dougie Hamilton was traded for the 15th, 45th, and the 52nd overall picks in the 2015 draft, which is 2 firsts and a second. Milan Lucic was traded to the Kings for the 13th overall pick in that 2015 draft, with also Colin Miller and Martin Jones. That's an extremely good deal for the Bruins because Jones was also flipped for a 2016 first round pick in Sean Corrali. And that 2016 pick became Trent Frederic, who is looking like a middle 6 forward at this point. And I could go through pretty much a lot of the minutia with these trades. Like the Rick Nash trade, overall I don't hate it because I understand they were trying to win now. You do give up a quality defenseman in Ryan Lindgren, but outside of him, none of those other players look like extremely good NHL level talent, so I'm kind of fine with that deal because I understand at that time they were trying to win. I mean, Sweeney also got Hall and Lazar for Andres Bjork in a 2nd rounder. I think that's good value. And then in March of last year, the Bruins got Hampus Lindholm, who has been absolutely fantastic for the Bees. All they had to do was trade John Moore Vakanainen, the 2020 first round pick, 2023 second round pick, and a 2024 second round pick as well. Yeah, you're giving up draft capital, but Hampus Lindholm is an all-star quality type defenseman, and those don't grow on trees. And Sweeney has tried to maximize this core's potential to win a cup. I mean, just this past year, he got Hathaway and Orlov before the deadline. And yes, they gave up quite a bit of draft picks with a 2023 first rounder, or a 2024 third rounder, and a 2025 second rounder. But Hathaway and Orlov was looked as those final pieces to winning a cup. And then they even went further and got Tyler Bertuzzi for a 2024 first round pick, which is conditional. It is top 10 protected, and a 2025 4th round pick. Now you could argue some of these moves didn't pan out because the Bruins didn't win the cup. But we would be mocking and angry at Sweeney if he didn't make those moves at the time, because they're like, well, why aren't you doing this? We're having a historic season. Shouldn't we be all in? Yeah, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I understand why he made those deals. This offseason, he's trying to rectify his cap situation, and he traded Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno's signing rights for Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula, who they might be something at the NHL level, might not, but they needed to open up cap space, and Chicago wanted to get Connor Bedard, a very good winger. So overall, what do I think of Sweeney? Do I think he's the worst general manager in the history of the sport? No, I don't. I think he's about an average to above average. I think his drafting is far too much maligned because overall he's gotten quite a bit of NHL talent with his drafts. I do think some of the misses do need to be noted, so that's why I kind of knock him a bit for drafting. He's not the greatest drafter. But to be fair to Sweeney, I mean, his undrafted free agents have panned out well. I actually think he might have another hit with Merkulov, because last year, in the AHL with the Providence Bruins, in 67 games played, as a rookie, he had 24 goals, 31 assists for 55 points. The drafting might not always be excellent, but he finds ways to supplement talent with some undrafted free agents. So his drafting alongside with his UDFA pickups, I think he's about average to above average. As for his trading acumen, I think it's above average as well. He's made trades to help win cups. He's made trades to help improve the Bruins and see if they could get another ring. And he's also smart enough to deal away a player like Taylor Hall, realizing like, hey, next season, most likely not winning a cup, and we need to open up more cap space to hopefully acquire players down the road. So I'll just do this. I'll go with a letter grade. I will give Sweeney a B+ rating as general manager. I think some of the criticism he gets is valid, but some of it can be a bit excessive. But I would love to know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Don Sweeney? Do you think he's a great GM, terrible GM, or somewhere in between? I'm Captain Paul, and I'll see you in the next one.